55 for your cue to call in.
When you hear the sound of the steamship, Monday morning at WFMS, or when you see us on Fox 59 Sunday night, be the fifth caller.
You'll win a delicious...
Appointment of our kids seeing this happen, that ball just wouldn't fall in the hoop. Other than that, we played hard defensively at the second half. The kids were scrapping right down to the end. On the bench, they were trying to keep each other pumped up positively. And as I told them last night before the game started and as the game was over last night, as long as you keep giving it all you got, that's all that can happen in this game. And no one can go home sad from a effort that you gave 100%, and that's the way I felt after the Anderson game. We gave 100%. Obviously, a lot of things we could learn from that, but really I couldn't be discouraged with our effort. Our effort was good.
How down were the kids after the game, and how tough was it to get them back up then for last night's game?
Well, I think they also understood that they played hard, and you know, you look down the charts, there was only one statistic that beat us. It was shooting. Rebounds were 18-17. Turnovers were 17-18. So on possessions off of shots and turnovers, it was 35-35. So there's no difference in that aspect of the game. Free throw shooting, they were great. 18 for 21. There's nothing you can do about that. We were 13 for 22. Not a great shooting performance, but over 60% and something that you can still win with. Then you look at field goals. From the two-point range, we hit 9 of 34, and they are 31 for 45. And you just don't, a team that shoots over two-thirds of their shots and they go in, you're not going to have very much success again. We take a lot of pride in our defense and our defensive percentage that we allow, and obviously we were discouraged with that, and there were things that we had to do to improve that. But a lot of it was because of when you're trying to catch up, you do take more chances. And as we took the chances to maybe hit 4 people or 5 to the offensive board, they got a couple breakaways on the fast break. Also, we were trying to maybe double team a little more than we would have. They got some breakaways in against the press, and that helped their shooting percentage. But the biggest thing was they hit very well in the first half when they were just playing half court, and that was what was really the determining factor of the game.
We'll be back with our Meet the Wildcats segment coming up right after this. We're being joined by Assistant Athletic Director Dick Christie. And Dick, good seeing you. We haven't talked since the summer when you were named the new Assistant AD. And why don't you tell us how the job's been going?
Well, really well. Thank you, Greg. It's been an exciting year for me. I got my feet wet with the fall sports, football, and the other sports associated with that. And got an idea, I feel, of the office. And then we moved on into our winter sports, and things have been going very well so far. And really enjoying it, meeting a lot of new people, rekindling some old friendships, and having a generally good time.
I know you work closely with the basketball program in that you and Basil both operate out of Memorial Gym, so why don't you tell us how that's been going?
Well, that's been going really well. I have an excellent secretary, Rita Hoagland, and she kind of takes care of both of us. Kind of the mother image. If something goes wrong, she says, hey, look, guys, you have to get this done. And it's been a real lifesaver. And she works for both, not only Basil, but myself, and coordinates things between the South Campus, helps us do that we have to move some things out there occasionally because of the scheduling. We're very tight here at Memorial Gym. I believe a lot of people don't realize the amount of activities that take place here. And in fact, to kind of alleviate this year, we've moved a wrestling program back to the South Campus and are taking our 8th grade and putting them back in their home middle schools. And that'll help them from the standpoint there won't be so many kids at practice. It'll individualize practice a little bit more for those individuals.
Let me ask you, I know you kind of run the show for a lot of the junior high sporting events. Jim Collane, the AD, went out west for a big convention, so you took over for a couple of basketball games.
That was quite exciting. It's really initiated me. Fortunately, we had no major problems at that time, and things seemed to go pretty well. And we have a great support staff here. We just can't say enough about those people. You know, people come in, they give their ticket to the ticket taker. They maybe go to the concession stand and whatever. And people are just so great here.
People actually see only the event. They don't realize what takes place behind the scenes and everybody that is involved and how much time is spent getting all that coordinated and organized. But when you talk about 5,000 people on hand for a game, there is a lot involved in it,
right,
isn't there?
You know, and you have 4 gentlemen coming in to officiate, your JV officials, your varsity officials, and you know, you're kind of concerned at time, the game time gets a little close, maybe one of them's running a little late because of traffic, or as in the case of weather perhaps, or no one knows for sure whether they're going to be here or not, and that kind of puts you on edge. But fortunately, we have no problems like that, and we have people in the community that I'm sure that would step in who are certified officials and would do a good job for us.
Got some big tournaments coming up here this weekend. In fact, the 7th and 8th grade Kokomo Invitational, and then the City-County next week. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
We'll start off, tip-off time will be at 9 o'clock Saturday. For our first game, we'll have 5 games that first day, 8th grade, 7th grade games. And then we'll move on to the 4th. And on the 4th, we'll have the consolation game or semifinal game of the 7th grade. We'll have more 7th grade teams than 8th grade teams in this. We'll have our 3 8th grade teams, our red, white, and blue teams from downtown, and Delphi will be the 4th team to complement that part of the series. The winner of that particular portion, or the runner-up, if it should be a Kokomo team, would be our city champ. And of course, the county plays their own tournament, and their champ then will face that team from Kokomo. Likewise, with the 7th grade, our winner there or runner-up, whatever it will be our city champ and play the county team, and that will take place then on the following evening. And the first game, 7th grade game, will be played at 6 o'clock, followed then at approximately 7:15 with the 8th grade game to name the city-county champ for the 90-91 school year.
Sounds good. Let's move from basketball to wrestling. Let's talk about the middle school wrestling program a bit.
Right. We've had a pretty good turnout this year. As I said, we moved it back out to the middle school, so we have Bon Air, Lafayette Park, Sycamore, and Maple Crest as our 4 middle schools. We've taken the 8th graders who had attended that or now live in that home school district, and they are returning to those particular schools to wrestle at that school. We have each of the middle schools scheduled to wrestle each other several times, and also we have schools outside of our corporation. And in that case, I think what we're going to do this year is to make sure that we have a full team, is to take kind of an all-star team or combine several of the teams. We have some open weight classes at some of the schools, and Coach Quilletza felt that would be the best thing to do to get the kids experience since he's trying to build that program.
How about a junior high swim program? What does that entail?
Well, we have co-ed swim, and that's 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And again, those kids come from those 4 particular middle schools. We practice at the downtown campus, but we hold our meets out at the south campus. We have the automatic timing out there, and that makes it much more convenient. We have the diving well out there, which we don't have at the downtown campus. So they will practice down here. They swim a pretty full schedule, and they'll compete there. And that's they finished, the 23rd was their last meet, and had a really successful year. There's some up-and-coming swimmers and divers in the program this year, and that's really encouraging to see that.
Sounds great. Good talking to you, Dick, and best luck the rest of the way then.
Thank you, Greg. It's been a pleasure.
Assistant Athletic Director Dick Christie, and we'll be back with more of the show right after this. Dick Christie.
He's done a great job, and using the same secretary and working with Rita has been fun too. As he mentioned, she does a great job and keeps us both kind of coordinated because he's involved with the 8-9 athletics. I'm involved with the 7th grade athletics plus the 8th and 9th grade basketball, and so a lot of us has to be worked together, but it's nice to have the secretary, which is the same, and has coordinated well. And Dick's very personable. He gets along with everybody, and when I'm having a bad day, he tries to pick me up, and when he's kind of down, I try to pick him up. But it's been fun working together, and things have worked out real well.
Go back to last Friday night, the Wigwam at Anderson. Let's talk about the start of the game because you got off to a decent start. Although while you were scoring, Anderson was scoring as well, and maybe Kojak Fuller early on in the ball game kind of set the tone.
Well, we started out, we score on the tip-off, and that gets us the start that we're looking for, so it's 2-0, and that's what you want to get momentum in that. They came down and scored with Kojak making a super drive to the left, I believe, and sticking in a jumper. We came right back, and Mondo hit a 3, so it's 5-2 right now, and things went along pretty much as we had hoped. But from then on, we missed a couple key shots. They came up with some excellent penetration and shooting. Fuller and Williams give them an excellent inside-outside attack. If you go out and try to really guard Kojak tight on the perimeter, then that leaves the baseline and the penetration from the inside open for Williams. And in the first half, those two were really the primary factors. I looked down at the scoring, it's 33 scores, 51, 33, 33, 51. They were the ones that were really hurting us. They were getting good defensive efforts out of everyone else, but primarily the offense in the first half was Fuller Williams. really at the end of the first half, you know, we're only down 5-7 points, and all of a sudden we cut it to 6, I think, right at the halftime, and we come out the start of the second half, and we have 2 possessions. The very first possession was key in the start of the third quarter. Donnie Bowling gets an excellent post move. He turns, crosses over, and shoots it, goes in, and they call him for travel. You know, that would have cut it to 4. The press could have come on. We'd have had some momentum, but instead it was like, oh no, another thing wrong, and all of a sudden they got some momentum from that. So they built it up, I think, to 8 with about 5 minutes to go, and I think that was probably the telling factor, because at that time we had 4 straight lay-ins that just wouldn't go in. I think, got it on a fast break or a penetration, and we missed it, put it back up, missed it. The ball goes out of bounds off us, so they had the ball. We press, trap, they throw it right to Timmy. Timmy has a really hard shot, doesn't go in, but we got a tip in from the other side, wide open. It doesn't go in. Timmy gets another tip, so 5 attempts and no points, and they come down and either fouled or were scored. And now instead of cutting it to 6, it went to the double figures for the first time. And from then on, you know, the shooting wasn't there. When you only from then on, we only had 2 field goals the rest of the game, and with only 2 field goals in 15 minutes, you're not going to win many basketball games.
How do you compare this year's Anderson team with some of Norm's previous ball clubs?
Well, I thought they're an excellent team. They play well together, and they've got, you know, excellent leadership from the guard position. And Perry, a 2-year starter, playing very much last year on the Final Four team, and then Fuller is very hard to defend. I think they're getting good balance right now. John Cox, their center's playing well, and also Tyson Britt came in off the bench. They got Troy King eligible for the first time, and then Rob Williams is much underrated at the forward position. So they've got a nice blend right now. They got 6-7 players. They all play pretty much interchangeably, and they're an excellent team. And no disgrace to be beaten. You know, the 40-point loss is probably one of the largest I've ever suffered in my coaching career. But when it goes down, it was a loss, just like any other loss, and we have to fight back from that. And I don't think the kids felt that badly about it, other than, Coach, we've got to get better shots, maybe take a little more patience, maybe get the right people shooting a little bit more from the perimeter, different people inside, and from that you just learn. And so that's why we have the videotape to go over, and it was nice to see them come back Saturday morning enthused, ready to practice, and we played hard Saturday and Monday in practice, and came out last night, I thought, with a lot of enthusiasm.
Let's talk about last night's game against the Northwestern Tigers, and look at the start of the ball game. Played very well defensively in the first quarter, but the offense a little slow in coming along.
Well, we had a lot of nice shots in that first quarter, you know, and that's without good defense, we could have been down and been in problems, but our defense was so good that we forced a lot of turnovers. We were holding them pretty well, making them shoot tough shots, but in the other aspect, we weren't shooting well. Finally, then in the second quarter, Mondo started lighting up a few threes. I think he had 4 or 5 threes the first half, and that was a big factor because his outside shooting loosened up everything inside. Also gave the kids that momentum they needed to get everyone loosened up and more confident. Excellent overall game by our 3 co-captains. You look at Timmy Rail, probably one of his most aggressive games, rebounding. He took it to the basket, drew some free throws, had 16 points, an excellent game. Jason Watson, even though he's been injured, is starting to, I think, really come around now, and that will be a key when we get him back to 100%. He had 14 points, and then Fowler with 22. So the 3 perimeter players, I thought, had excellent games last night. Even though we didn't get a lot of points out of our inside game, I thought it was aggressive. At least we did not, our defense inside was excellent last night because they have big people in Keaton, Culbertson, Lohman, all 6'4" kids that can leap, and I thought our inside defense was excellent, and we can contribute that primarily to Smith, Gaddy, and Bowling.
3-point shot, obviously key last night. You hit 9 of them.
Well, you know, that's the start of the season when we had the 3. Our only real true experience coming back from last year was at the wing position. Rail had started most every game. Watson and Fowler had alternated, and so from those guys, we had all of our returning experience, and their primary asset was their excellent outside shooting as juniors. As juniors, I think they shot over 47% combined from the 3-point line, so we knew that would be a big strength for us. So that is where it had to come from, and it came from last night, and it's going to have to be a continuing factor for us to be successful.
Big ball game coming up Friday night at Kokomo's Memorial Gym. The Wildcats still alive, but just barely in the NCC race. Must-win situation against the Bearcats of Muncie Central. And back to preview that one for you right after this.
The
Bearcats of Muncie Central come to town this Friday night to take on the Kokomo Wildcats in a key NCC ball game. Muncie Central ranked 4th in the state. They're undefeated in the conference, and Coach, they got a pretty good ball club this year.
Yes, our conference is pretty well balanced, but I think they have kind of risen to the top. Right now, I think they stand with the only team undefeated in the conference. Marion, I believe, has 1 loss, and we have 2, and I think maybe Anderson has 2. So it is pretty well bunched at the top, but they are the team that has the premier record. They played very well this year. I thought their last game against Anderson Highland may have been one of their most impressive. I didn't get to see the game, but I did. When you can beat the number 8 or 9 team by 18 points, you have a very powerful team. And I've heard that Highland is very strong this year, even though I haven't been able to see them. One thing that they have, a lot of balance. You cannot say, one of the other sports writers called me and said, well, who's their leading player? They have 5 leading players. They have 5 players that have been leading scorers in different games. Last week, in one of the games, I believe Robert Scaife, a 3-year varsity player, was the leading scorer. He's only a junior, about 6'2", a very good player. I believe the other game possibly was a person off the bench in Brian Long, another 6'2" sophomore who's playing very well and coming in and doing a great job. Their 2 leading scorers we haven't even mentioned probably, and Artis Long, who's averaging about 16, his 3rd year on the varsity, and Scotty Robertson, who came in last year for his first action varsity against us after serving academic ineligibility last year, is their 2nd leading scorer, or maybe I think he's their leading scorer. Artis is 2nd. So they have 4 players right there that have been leading scorers, and I think in different games, Carmichael, their other guard, has been in the top scorers, and then we haven't mentioned their other starter, John Webster. So they have 6 players that all have started at different times, all have coming off the bench and been one of their leading scorers, and they're just a very balanced team.
Team not with a heck of a lot of size, but great quickness.
Yeah, they're very similar to us in the aspect they start 6'2" kids and good leapers and good players. So size will not be a factor. It's just going to be a factor of who has the best position and who gets in the right places at the right time. So I think that's where our conference has been really strength-wise. The Richmond team is a very good team. A big victory last week against Connorsville. They're very similar to what I consider the Richmond team and Muncie Central, and that Fraser and Sanders go to the basket like Scaife and Robertson and Long and the inside players of Muncie Central.
Good talking to you, Coach, and best of luck this Friday night.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Should be a good one. The Kokomo Wildcats take on the Bearcats of Muncie Central this Friday night at Kokomo's Memorial Gym. Hope you enjoyed this evening's program and can tune in again next week.
Today's game is being brought to you by Ameritrust, Ivy Tech of Indiana, Roy's Carpet, Team Logos, Gowdy Brothers Boilers, Wendy's, Chuck Hill Insurance, and the dentist's office. And now, here's Howard Kelman and Jim Casper.
Channel 40 Sports presents the high school basketball game of the week. Today, the Muncie Central Bearcats play at the Kokomo Wildcats. Hi, everybody. I'm Howard Kelman. I'll call the play-by-play. Jim Kasberg on my left will provide the color commentary. And Jim, in Muncie Central, we've got one of the top teams in the state.
Absolutely, Howard. They're ranked number 4, and guess what? They're a year early. Only 2 seniors on this roster. Everyone figured next year would be the Bearcats year, but they have arrived in 1991.
Okay, tell us about the key players on both teams.
Well, I think for Muncie Central visiting, you can look for Artis Long, number 15, to pop from the outside. He's the key man that Kokomo's got to stop. I think on the other hand, for the Wildcats, Timmy Rail, number 32, at 6'6", could have a field day against a front line for Muncie Central, whose tallest player is only 6'2".
Okay, we look forward to your comments throughout the game, and we'll be back with the start of this game in just a moment.
Senior number 15, Artis Long.
officials are Kim Baker and Tony Garton. And we are ready to play basketball at Kokomo High School. Muncie Central won the junior varsity game 41-39. John Webster at 6'2", and Dwayne Smith at 6'3" will jump center.
Muncie Central, the only North Central Conference team ranked among the state's top 30 clubs. Well, so obviously this not a great year for the North Central Conference in terms of team ranking.
And we're ready to play ball here at Kokomo High School. And Webster controls the tap. Robert Scaife to Jason Carmichael, and Carmichael moves it across. 22 is Robertson, 32 Carmichael, 15 is Long. This is Robertson out to Long. Kokomo comes out in the zone, looks like a 2-3 zone. Here's Carmichael, and there's Long. And Artis Long hits. Three-pointer, so it's 3-0.
We noted in the pregame that Artis can fire from outside, and Kokomo is going to have to come out and get him if he's on a hot streak tonight. He sure started out that way.
Dwayne Smith down low, and he misses the shot, and a good job of pulling down the rebound by Robert Scaife. Here's Carmichael, 3-0 in favor of the Bearcats, ranked 4th in the state. Long to Webster. Look at them move the ball around beautifully, and Robertson misses the jumper, and it goes out of bounds off the foot of Dwayne Smith.
You've noticed right off what a quick team these Muncie Central Bearcats are. They're one of the quicker teams in the state, and they'll utilize that quickness to their advantage.
Webster misses the jumper, and Mondo Fowler comes up with the rebound. Here's Timmy Rail. Smith up high gets the ball. Kevin Clark, 22. Nice pass inside, but Clark misses the shot. And it's out of bounds, and we have a whistle.
I think Clark got called that time, being a little over-aggressive going for the rebound.
Kokomo foul on Kevin Clark is his first, team's first.
Number 1 on Kevin Clark. So the Bearcats with the ball leading 3-0. 6.5 minutes to go in the first period. Jason Carmichael working against Donnie Boulding. Here's Artis Long. His brother also plays for this team, Brian Long. Artis Long with the basketball. Here's Carmichael for 3. Good rebound by Dwayne Smith of Kokomo.
He kept that pivot foot down. That's not easy to do when you're leaning the way he was. Good rebound.
Here's Clark. Donnie Boulding looking for Rail inside. Instead goes to Mondo Fowler. And they get it inside to Smith, but he misses the shot. And Boulding is called for traveling.
Well, early on here, Howard, we're seeing exactly what we saw a week ago at Anderson. The Kokomo Wildcats playing good basketball, but the rim just seems to have a lid on it.
Beautiful lead for Robertson for the stuff. So it's 5-0 in favor of the Bearcats. 5:40 to go in period 1 as Kevin Clark moves it across. Donnie Boulding. See the Bearcats in a man-to-man defense. Rail for 3. Boulding comes up with a loose ball. And a good move by Donnie Boulding for the bucket.
Yeah, the sophomore just slashed right in, scored 2 points, and that's an important bucket. Breaks the ice for Kokomo.
5-2. Muncie Central. Carmichael throws the ball away. So on the turnover, Kokomo gets it back.
Now, this obviously is a critical victory situation for Kokomo. I really think it's important that the Wildcats get a W here. You know, they started 11-1, Howard, during the season, but they're only 1-2 over their last 3 games, and they got crushed by Anderson 1 week ago.
Timmy Rail down the lane as the ball taken away by Robertson. Here's Carmichael. Artis long. And they work the ball back out to Carmichael. Here's Artis long.
Well, he's the zone buster, and I'm sure if he gets an opening, he'll put it up.
Good fake by Robertson. Misses the shot. Look at Clark pull the rebound down.
Terrific rebound.
Timmy Rail. And he hits. 5-4.
Well, I really think that shot's going to be open for Timmy Rail all night. He's 6'6". The Muncie kids can jump, but they're still only 6'2", Howard. He's got a tremendous height advantage.
Robertson with a beautiful pass inside, and the bucket by Robert Scape.
Well, Sonny Robertson had a beautiful pass, as you noted, Howard, and boy, you've got to credit him for that 2 points.
7-4 in favor of the Bearcats. The Bearcats and the Wildcats. Donnie Bowling to Dwayne Smith. Here's Mondo Fowler. Timmy Rail against Robertson. Fowler fakes a 3. And they'll start it all over again. Kevin Clark, 22. Fowler for 3. And the rebound to Webster.
It's a little out of Mondo's range.
Here's Artis long.
He'll pop it.
No good, but Robertson with the rebound. And the pass inside, and a beautiful steal.
Tim Rayo knocked it away
from Robert Scape. Here's Clark. And rebound pulled down by Scape, who has done a good job on the boards in the early going.
Well, he's just a warrior. Robert Scape is one tremendous leader on the court. Tremendous court demeanor. He's a fighter all the way.
Here's Robertson. Back out to Carmichael. Artis long with the ball. Forces one up. Scape battling.
Look at him. Look at him fight for it.
Scape and Donnie Bowling.
Good call. Fans don't like it, but that was a good call. Robert Scape definitely had the angle that time.
Donnie Bowling commits his first personal as Jason Watson will check into the ball game. And so does Matt Gaddy. Watson and Gaddy check in for the Wildcats. They replace Smith and Fowler. And it's picked up by Matt Gaddy.
Wow, they had Tim Rail open down court. Didn't see him.
Here's Timmy Rail with the ball now. Clark. Fowler. I beg your pardon, Donnie Bowling is 34. And a steal, good deflection by Webster, set it up. And Donnie Bowling is called for traveling.
You're absolutely right, Howard. That was great defensive presence that time by John Webster on the other end of the court. As you saw him just absolutely rattle Donnie Bowling. Donnie almost got called for the 5-second call. Had to get the pass away as quick as possible, and in desperation had the turnover.
Artis long inbounding to Webster. And they swing it outside to Carmichael. Long for 3, and he hits. Artis Long now has 2 3-point field goals. And it's 10-4, a 6-point lead for Muncie Central as Mondo Fowler gets set to check back in for Kokomo. Clark trying to force it inside. It's a kick ball.
Well, he got a break that time. Not a good pass. Kevin Clark forced it in there, and there really wasn't a path to the open man, and the kick was really his only out that time.
Fowler comes back in, replacing Kevin Clark. Clark did not score. Tim Rail will inbound. 24 is Jason Watson. Working against Artis Long. Here's Matt Gaddy. Gaddy against Webster. To Mondo Fowler. Long one. No good. Good follow by Matt Gaddy. 10-6 in favor of the Bearcats. Here's Scabe. Robertson. Artis Long to Scabe. Now Artis Long again. Scabe. Excellent patience by the Bearcats. Long faking a 3.
And even better defense by the Wildcats.
He walked with the ball, trying to do a little too much.
Absolutely. Just as I made the point that they were exercising good patience, he got a little impatient, and the resultant turnover.
Fowler inbounds to Jason Watson.
I really think Muncie Central can almost afford a loss here tonight, Howard. It's a young team, and Bill Harrell may need something to bring them back down to earth. They're sky high, especially after beating Muncie South in that big game a couple weeks ago.
Watson inside. He's got it, and he's fouled as well. It counts in a foul.
Well, how many times have we seen Jason Watson come up with a veteran play? And right there you saw evidence. It's interesting to note the two subs that came into the ball game, Watson and Matt Gaddy, have both contributed here moments after being inserted into the game.
Jason Carmichael committed the personal, so Jason Watson at the line, a 62% free throw shooter. And he's got the three-point play.
Well, Jason Watson's had some big moments this year, and there you can see a big play in a big game here at home against Muncie Central as he banks in the little 5-footer and goes to the free throw line to complete the three-point play and draw Kokomo to within one.
Ryan Long checks into the ball game for the first time. He's got the basketball for Muncie Central. 48 seconds to go in the first quarter, 10-9, 1-point lead. Somehow he didn't travel. Artis Long. Scave to Artis Long. 32 is Jason Carmichael. Tell you, Jason's a popular name back in 1974. Muncie Central has 3 juniors named Jason on this team. As they just hold it, 12 seconds left first quarter. Playing for the last shot, 10 seconds. Here's Carmichael, 5 seconds. And a steal. Watson just heaves it up, and that's the end of the first quarter. The score after one period, Muncie Central 10, Kokomo 9. Back with period 2 in just a moment. Long, the game's leading scorer with 6 points. For Muncie Central, he has 2 3-point field goals. Muncie Central shooting to clinch a tie in the North Central Conference, which they can do with a victory in this game. They haven't won the conference title since 1977, despite winning some state championships in that period a couple of years ago. There's a forced pass inside. Mondo Fowler has the ball as the Wildcats retain possession. Jason Watson. Donnie Bowling. Fowler for 3. And a beautiful block by Robertson. Here's Bowling. Fowler fakes that 3. And he draws the foul.
You know, Sonny's fired up defensively there after the block. He got a little too aggressive the second time around and got caught. So we'll have Mondo Fowler going to the line for 2 shots. And Howard, as you well know, we're beginning the stretch run with this weekend, the 4 weeks of February leading to the state tournament. And obviously Muncie Central just absolutely on a roller coaster right now and have had a great year, a year early. Kokomo, on the other hand, remember last year started out 10-0, but only finished 7-5 and lost their sectional. Basil Mawbey wants to get this team back on track. They've only won 1 out of their last 3 games.
Sonny Robinson committed his first personal as Mondo Fowler makes both free throws, and it's 11-10. So the Wildcats with a run have taken the lead, and traveling is called on Scaife.
There's a good look at Robert, number 42. He felt he got a little homered there. Howard, looked to me like it may have been a charge. Actually, Robert may be lucky he didn't get called for the foul.
Doug Etchison checks in the game for Kokomo, replacing Donnie Bolden. Jason Watson to inbound for the Wildcats. 11-10 Kokomo. Opening moment of period 2. Clark. Etchison with the ball. Back to Clark. Here's Watson. Good, tough man-to-man defense. And just as I say that, we have a whistle.
I think it was Etchison.
You're right. Doug Etchison holding away from the ball, his first personal.
Well, we've seen great defense on both sides, and obviously the score 11-10 in the second quarter indicates that this is a Basil Mawbey type cadence to the game so far, and obviously it is.
Okay, here's Artis Long starting the offense over. 42 is Scaife, 32 Carmichael, 50 is Brian Long. Now Artis Long for three, and it's good, and he has his third three-point field goal of the game.
Well, he can flat drain it. That's all there is to it. The kid can shoot. And Kokomo loves to play that zone defense, and he'll absolutely kill you if he's hot.
13-11 in favor of Muncie Central. Long one by Jason Watson is good.
He can just
maybe they ought to give him 4 points for that. It was so far out.
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything. Just a real jack of all trades. And you can't say enough for the kid's demeanor on the floor as well. It's contagious. He's a real competitor, much like Scaife is for Muncie Central.
Here's Brian Long. Foul underneath.
That's Etchison again. And a technical as well.
Well, it's not Etchison, it's Robert Scaife.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Howard. I thought they called Etchison. And obviously the official heard something he didn't like. Robert's going to sit down.
Technical foul, as well as the personal called on Scaife.
Did it look as if he said something? I wasn't even watching Robert. I was watching Etchison.
6:07 to go in the first half. Kokomo leading 14-13. As John Webster checks back in the lineup. Mondo Fowler will shoot the technical. Fowler makes the first one. He now is 3 of 3 from the line. He is a 77% free throw shooter. Southpaw's second one also is good.
Well, he's the only Kokomo Wildcat shooting above 70% from the line, so it's a good thing that Basil has Mondo on the floor to shoot the technical shots.
Tim Rail will inbound. Kokomo now by 3 against the 4th-ranked Bearcats. Clark. Here's Watson. They bring the ball back outside to Dwayne Smith. Here's Clark. And neither Fowler nor Rail went for the ball, and it's out of bounds. Ball will be inbounded by Jason Carmichael. He and Artis Long work in the backcourt. Neither team has really settled into a good groove offensively.
No, not offensively. They've both played good hard-nosed defense.
Carmichael. Brian Long. And they've both played defense. Kokomo playing a zone. Muncie Central a man-to-man. Webster. And he banks it home.
Boy, that's not an easy shot.
No, not at all.
That zone packed in there the way it was. Nice shot by Webster.
Absolutely. 16-15. 5:19 to go first half. Kokomo by a point. Watson is free. The rebound pulled down by Brian Long. Muncie Central pushing it off. Sonny Robertson all the way for the basket.
Well, he had that look in his eye. The minute he collected the pass, you could see that he was going for the gold. And he went right to the goal and scored 2 points the easy way, a layup.
4 quick points for the Bearcats, who've regained the lead at 17-16. Rail down low the pass, and Watson hits the jumper. So Jason Watson.
If Jason Watson can play with his back to the bucket at his size, Timmy Rail could absolutely own this ball game. Howard on the inside. I'd love to see the Wildcats go to Timmy a little more. He's only had 1 shot, and he buried that.
Jason Watson already with 8 points, and he'll get a breather.
Well, he just works his tail off. He needs a rest because he just goes full tilt.
Here's Jason Carmichael. And they're in the deliberate pattern. Brian Long. And the rebound pulled down by Webster, who draws the foul.
Wow. Well, that negated an excellent block by Donnie Bowling. Webster got way up high for that rebound and tried to double pump on the putback, but Donnie Bowling smacked it out of bounds. Meanwhile, there was a foul called, and we'll see Webster at the line.
Dwayne Smith committed the personal. That's his first. John Webster at the line is a 52% free throw shooter, a 6'2" sophomore.
There you see Dre Knox, number 24, into the ball game. He is just an absolutely cat-quick guard, a junior for Muncie Central.
Game tied at 18, and Webster makes them both. You know, Muncie Central coach Bill Harrell in his 17th year. He's the only coach to have won state titles in Indiana and Kentucky. Clark over to Smith. Here's Mondo Fowler. Good pass inside for Smith for the basket.
Well, the Wildcats are finding the bucket now, Howard, unlike the opening couple of minutes when they had some shots rim out. They're starting to connect.
And they call it a player control foul on John Webster.
Well, that's just great defense there by number 42 for the Kokomo Wildcats, Dwayne Smith, as he held his ground. And you could see Webster out of control, had nowhere to go, and the charge was called.
I think coaches will say when you're that close, you go up for the shot in that situation.
I think he should have. He had committed himself, and he really had no other choice.
20-19, 1-point lead for Kokomo. Here's Tim Rail. Looping pass off Bowling and out of bounds.
Yeah, they're trying to post Donnie up underneath at the sophomore at 6'2", and he's got such great leaping ability that's a pretty good idea. Normally you wouldn't see a player his size. Actually, Donnie's more like 6'1". Give him a good hard look. Trying to post up, but he does.
And a near steal, it is a steal. Rail to Bowling for the basket. Donnie now has 4 points. Kokomo by 3. That's Trey Knox going all the way, and a pass inside to Brian Long. Look at the English on that shot.
Boy, that's a sophomore. Number 50, Brian Long, has got several years left as a Bearcat. I beg your pardon, he is a junior. Howard, number 50, Brian Long. Great play, though.
Off Timmy Rail's hands and out of bounds. 22-21 Kokomo. Jason Watson checking back in, replacing Donnie Bowling, who leaves with 4 points. First ever meeting between these two teams was back in 1905-06 for you history buffs. Kokomo won the game 32-26.
Well, I bet few people could have dreamt that Muncie Central would go on to win 8 state championships since that time, and nobody in the state of Indiana, no schools won more.
And a long one is good by Dre Knox.
Well, that could be a 5-point play, unless the call is against Muncie Central. And we'll see who it's against. I think it's going to be against the Bearcats.
It's on Robertson. Personal on Sonny Robertson, who is not too happy about it.
Basil Mawbey there shouting instructions to his squad. They're down by 2, but they're looking much sharper tonight than they have in any of their previous 3 games. Of course, they lost at Carmel. They lost at Anderson in a game right here on Channel 40 1 week ago. And they did manage to beat Northwestern, an upstart team from Howard County, by just 9 points during the week this week. So Basil's seeing a little improvement here in the first half against a very, very strong and number 4 ranked Muncie Central team.
Jason Watson makes the first free throw. You look at the 24 points that Muncie Central has scored, and they have 12 points on 3-point field goals. Watson misses the second. He has 9 points. 1-point lead for Muncie Central. 24-23, 2.5 to go, first half. 50 is Bill Long. 24, Dre Knox. Long one by Artis. Long is good. That is his 4th 3-point field goal of the game. He has 12 points, averaging 16.5 a game.
Well, Mondo Fowler, he kind of rainbows his threes in, but I'll tell you what, Artis Long just drills them. He just fires them up there in that very little arc. He just drills them right in.
Rail throws it away, trying to lead Smith inside. 27-23. 4-point lead for the Bearcats. 50 is Brian Long. Out to Dre Knox. To Robert Scaife. Artiste Long faking the three, and a good defensive play by Timmy Rail, who knocks it off Artiste Long.
There's a shot at Bill Harrell, as you mentioned, the only coach in history to win state titles in both Indiana and Kentucky, and he's got 3 of them in Indiana. So
78, 79, and 88.
He's done his job. That 88 state championship was over the Sean Kemp-led Concord Minutemen. What a great effort that was.
Dwayne Smith having trouble. Clark, Watson going into 4 men, and the ball finally taken off by Brian Long. Here's Webster. John Webster with a hoop. And now it's a 6-point lead for the Bearcats with a little over a minute to go, 1:05 left in the first half.
Well, it's a critical stretch here for the Wildcats. They can ill afford to get down by 10 points or more. And right now they're flirting with just that.
Here's Jason Watson. And he misses the shot, and Artiste Long has the rebound with 50 seconds to go in the half. 24 is Dre Knox, and Bill Harrell may have said 1 shot.
Well, he's a veteran. You got 2 of the good ones going at each other here tonight. Basil Mawbey for Kokomo. He got a state title in '83 at Connorsville, and Bill Harrell, who you look at there, who's got 3 of them in Indiana, 1 in Kentucky. And they don't come any better than this duo.
25 seconds to go in the half as Dre Knox just holds the basketball. 20 seconds.
Muncie Central's only loss this year coming against the Cathedral Irish by 5 points back on January 5th.
And Webster makes the bucket with 7 seconds to go in the half.
Beautiful execution.
And a steal by Artiste Long.
He'll pop it. Bing.
It would have counted had it gone.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
That's the end of the first half, and Muncie Central has the largest lead of the game, 8 points. The score at halftime, Muncie Central 31, Kokomo 23. We'll be back as we get to the third period.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Timmy get the ball to shoot again. He's very effective when doing so. There's a charge on Artiste Long, so Kokomo starting out the way they needed to here in the second half.
Number 1 on Long, 7:11 to go in period 3. The Bearcats by 8 over the Wildcats. We thank the students of Kokomo High School for producing the halftime feature.
No, the lead down to 6 now, and Kokomo dodged a real bullet at the end of the first half when that 3-pointer after the steal by Artiste Long was just off, and now Kokomo scores the opening 2 points.
Robertson leading Long, and Artiste Long has the field goal. He now has 14 points. He's the game's high scorer. 33-25. Bearcats by 8. Clark to Fowler to Dwayne Smith. Back out to Clark. Here's Timmy Rail. Wildcats having trouble getting into their offense.
Well, we saw that last week. Only scored 14 points in the second half, and that loss to Anderson. And obviously they don't look as bad as they did that game by any stretch of the imagination. But a Basil Mawbey coach team has got to have precise execution to win ball games. And the Wildcats have had trouble exercising precision the last couple times out.
John Webster commits his second personal. Tim Rail, Mondo Fowler for 3. Swish.
Boy, oh boy, he launches it up there, Howard. What a difference between the styles of shooting from Artiste Long and Mondo Fowler. As we mentioned in the first half, Mondo really put some mark on it.
And a steal by Clark to Rail, back to Clark, and 1 pass too many. Donnie Boulding for the basket.
Bill Harrell says enough. I want a timeout, and I want it now.
4 quick points. It's 33-30. 6 minutes to go in period 3. The score, Muncie Central 33, Kokomo 30. We'll be back in just a moment.
Kokomo trailed by 8 points. Field goal 7 of 11 for Muncie Central. That's very good, way better than 50%. The Wildcats just under 500 at 7 out of 15. 3-point shots, that was one of the big keys. 5 out of 9 for the Bearcats. Artiste Long on fire, 1 out of 3 for Kokomo. Free throws, 2 of 2 for Muncie Central, 6 of 7 for the Wildcats. Turnovers, 2 more for Muncie Central. A little of that youth and inexperience showing up there. And the Wildcats, as they should be, with an advantage on the boards, 9 to 7.
Okay, Trey Knox, who has checked into the game, will inbound for the Bearcats, whose lead has been sliced to 3. It was 8 at the half. Knox against Mondo Fowler. And a free man, Sonny Robertson. And a block called, blocking foul.
Boy, that's the toughest call in basketball.
Dwayne Smith committed the personal.
That is the toughest call there is to make for an official. And, you know, it's such a, in that case in particular, Howard, I think it was really right where it could have gone either way.
Artis Long inbounding to Sonny Robertson, I should say, and Donnie Bowling bats it out of bounds.
We'll take a look there. Just a split second late getting there was the defender that time, but I'll tell you, Sonny Robertson came within an eyelash of being called for a charge.
Scaife, Dre Knox, and they whip the ball around nicely. Webster is deep, and he has the bucket.
Boy, you just would never think that this is a team that consists of 10 underclassmen and only 2 seniors. Just great execution that time by the Muncie Central Bearcats.
And Clark goes all the way but misses the shot. Webster now has 10 points.
Well, that
Trey Knox comes away with the basketball.
Clark rushed at that time.
.42 is Scaife. 24 is Knox. Here's Artis Long. Sonny Robertson for the 3.
Boy,
they move the ball around beautifully.
Well, it's just, again, Howard, this is just not fitting of a young team. There's usually mistakes and turnovers, but this team really they look like they've been playing together for about 4 or 5 years.
Here's Bowling. Tim Rail. Good baseline move. Timmy Rail with the bucket.
Well, I think he's 3 for 3 on the night. I'm Coach Mawbey. I want the ball in Timmy's hands more in this second half.
Dre Knox, 3 men on him, and a steal by Bowling, and there's Timmy Rail, and he misses the shot. Mondo Fowler for 3, yes!
You gotta like it. The ICBM by Mondo Fowler. He's launching it from long range.
38 to 35, 3-point ball game. Muncie Central leading.
Now Dre Knox is getting rattled. That's twice down the court that Dre Knox has gotten rattled, and the Muncie Central Bearcats turn it over again. I'll tell you what, Kokomo is hanging tough, and Muncie Central is just allowing them too many opportunities to get back and tie this ball game.
Timmy Rail will inbound. 4:03 to go, third quarter, 3-point lead for the Bearcats, ranked 4th in the state. Here's Clark. Rail for 3. No good. That could have tied it up.
Boy, that was close.
Clark with the rebound. Dwayne Smith. Mondo Fowler. Traveling. No basket.
Boy, that's another close one. That call, as I said before, Howard, gets called a lot in high school, hardly ever in college, and never in the NBA. And the kids really get a lot of mixed messages about that move as they watch basketball on TV and see it really not called.
Knox to Long. Back to Knox. There's Scaife. Sonny Robertson and Timmy Rail bats it away. Scaife. Long for 3. And he's got another one. Artis Long has his 5th 3-point field goal of the game.
He's on fire. What else can you say? The guy can fire that rock.
41-35. Clark going all the way, missing the shot. Smith with a follow, no good.
Look at Bowling.
Bowling with a follow, and he's got it.
Oh, boy, what a play by Donnie Bowling. And he's going to get called after the shot.
He pushed off after the shot.
I don't think that was...
the official caught it, too.
The official saw it, I saw it, but I don't think the interpretation was correct. That was a situation where Donnie was really fired up after making the basket, Howard, and he came out of the pack, and there was a player right in his way, but I don't think he pushed him off maliciously. I think it was just he was exuberant after scoring the basket.
Robert Scaife will inbound.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with that one. That's just calling it a little too close.
41-37 in favor of Muncie Central. 3 minutes to go, third quarter. Here's Artis Long. Out to Dre Knox. Robert Scaife. Knox, and he's got the three.
Boy.
Dre Knox, second three-point field goal. Muncie Central now has 8 three-point field goals in this game.
And a lot of different kids are shooting those three-pointers, whereas really it's Mondo Fowler for the Kokomo Wildcats.
Kevin Clark hits a jumper.
And it's nice to see Kevin get on track, and they're within 5 again.
2:20 to go, third period. Here's Artis Long. Webster free at the free throw line, and they'll start the offense over. Long again. Missed that one. Timmy Rail battling, and Clark comes up with the ball. Here's Mondo Fowler. Rail is free. Good fake in the bucket by Tim Rail. Fourth field goal for Tim.
The offenses are back in sync, Howard.
5 seconds.
And Basil Mawbey's got to be happy. This is a whale of a ball game. We'll take a look here as you see under the basket, ball is loose. We're going to see Donnie Bowling come up with a great rebound as he just skies for it. Goes up at the tough angle and puts it in. And look, as he comes out of the pack, he's fired up after making that basket, and the official calls a foul. I think it was a wrong interpretation, an incorrect interpretation, where the official thought that Donnie was striking at the player.
And the shot is missed by Gaddy.
Well, Scaife got called for a foul. There you can see Robert. He can't believe it.
And on Scaife, that's number 2. 1:48 to go, third quarter. Muncie Central leading 44-41. Mondo Fowler inbound. Gaddy. Timmy Rail. Clark, they're working for a good shot, and Jason Watson has it batted away and out of bounds on a good defensive play by Robert Scaife.
Boy, that was incredible. It looked like he knocked that away with a baseball bat. It just went flying out of bounds. Looked like the Indians in batting practice, Howard. But nonetheless, good ball movement by Kokomo that time, and they're showing good poise. This is a tight game, kind of a Cardinal atmosphere starting to brew here in Memorial Gymnasium in a three-point ball game.
Matt Gaddy with the ball, forcing one inside, and it's out of bounds off the hands of Tim Rail.
Hey, you got to be happy if you're a Kokomo Wildcat fan. It hasn't been El Foldo as it was in the Wigwam 1 week ago tonight.
Intercepted by Matt Gaddy and taken back by Brian Long, and who's the foul on? It's on Gaddy.
Good call by the official. Matt made the good steal, but then fumbled it, was upset when it was recovered by the Muncie player. There's a good look at the 6'5 senior.
His first personal. 1:26 to go in period 3.
Well, Muncie Central last year won their sectional and lost to Newcastle in the first game of the Newcastle Regional. Boy, do they face a tough tournament road this year with Muncie Southside being as tough as they are.
Artis Long misses the shot, and Timmy Rail pulls the rebound down.
2 players open, and Basil Mawbey wanted the fast break that time.
Here's Clark to Fowler for 3. What a long shot that was, and he missed it. And the rebound to Brian Long. Dre Knox. Less than a minute to go in period number 3. Muncie Central by 3. 50 seconds remaining.
Bill Harrell's club weathered 2 opportunities by Kokomo to draw within a point or less. And Bill Harrell's doing the smart thing again. As you can see, Howard playing the percentages. He's taking a little air out of the ball.
35 seconds to go in the third period. Make it 30 seconds. 3-point Muncie Central lead.
Well, their schedule doesn't get any easier after this. They've got Lebanon on the 5th, Anderson Madison Heights on the 8th, Marion on the 15th, Indianapolis Tech, and Indianapolis Penn Davis to wrap up the season. So Muncie Central has some tough games left on their schedule.
10 seconds left in period 3. Here's Artis Long. 5 seconds. Sonny Robertson with a basket with 2 seconds remaining in the quarter, and that's the end of the third period. With a score, the Muncie Central Bearcats 46, the Kokomo Wildcats 41. Back with the fourth and final quarter in just a moment.
Gowdy Brothers Boilers Incorporated was established in 1914 in Kokomo. Through 8 decades, 2 world wars, and 14 presidents, Gowdy has been serving Central Indiana's boiler needs. If it's in the boiler room, we sell it, service it, and repair it. We specialize in churches, schools, commercial and residential service. We also offer certified welding, retubing, turbine cleaning, and refactory installation. So remember, if it's in the boiler room, we sell it, service, and repair it. Gowdy Brothers Boilers Incorporated, licensed, bonded, and insured. It's your chance to save on the 1991 models during the lowest price of the year sale at Goodwin Brothers Dodge Chrysler Plymouth. Get the sport fun of a Plymouth Sundance, just $76.99. Or check out the Plymouth Voyager with all new styling, quad command seating, V6 power, and a $500 rebate on top of the sale. The lowest price of the year sale is for a limited time only, so hurry into Goodwin Brothers Chrysler Plymouth at the corner of 3 and 38 in Newcastle.
Hi, I'm Chuck Hill of Hill Insurance. We're very proud of Kokomo and Howard County's rich and exciting sports heritage.
From Kokomo, 6'2", guard, average 14.4 points per game. He will attend Florida, Ryan Hovey.
Here at Hill Insurance, we're also proud of the fact that we have the best insurance coverage at the lowest possible rate in this area. Call us today at Hill Insurance at 452-5453.
When you're looking for a large selection of carpeting with expert installation, there's only one place to go in Kokomo, and that's Roy's Carpet World. When you finally select the carpeting you want, you then can talk to Roy about the furniture you want. That's right, Roy York is now in the furniture business too.
And now you can buy furniture from Roy's Carpet World, from such a name as Bassett and Stylecraft.
You'll find beautiful furniture along with name brand carpeting at Roy's Carpet World, 211 East Morgan Street in Kokomo. Roy's Carpet World. Howard Kellman and Jim Kasperg back at Kokomo High School, fourth and final period, with Muncie Central leading by 5. And there's the Wildcat Reading Club from Boulevard School. They're being honored for reading 75 books during the first semester, including the executive producers. Dennis Casey's nieces, Lindsay and Melissa Casey, are among those students. So our hats are off to the Wildcat Reading Club.
Yeah, they're reading on the boulevard.
Okay, we get ready for period 4. There's Basil Mawbey. Don't forget, next week, 9 a.m. next Saturday, Noblesville out at Mount Vernon. Second time we will have seen both of those teams. 2 weeks from today, Kokomo at Newcastle.
Key possession, I feel here, Howard, for Kokomo. They're down again by 5 points because Muncie Central again executed well at the end of a quarter break. We'll see if Kokomo can get back to within 3 points as they did most of the third quarter.
Jason Watson with the ball. Matt Gaddy down low, back out to Clark. Out of bounds, off the hands of Kokomo. 7:36 to go in the game. The Bearcats lead 46-41.
Well, now it becomes imperative for Kokomo to put the clamps on defensively. You just can't let this Muncie Central team get a lead on you.
And a beautiful pass inside in the bucket by Robert Scape.
Yeah, that's why they're ranked 4th in the state.
I give a special plug to Terry Downham, who does some pregame press notes. He could well be in the NBA. He's that efficient with his notes. Very impressive job once again by Terry Downham. Fowler to Clark, off the hands of Matt Gaddy. Clark inside, Watson, and he's got it.
Old Jason. Boy, was that ever a clutch basket. A near turnover that time, as you could see. And Kokomo, again, hanging tough. 5 points down, and a near turnover by Muncie Central.
I think that Dre Knox took a step too many. Yes, he did. traveling on Gray Knox.
Good call, Howard. Bill Harrell's got to be upset about that. His team showed good poise throughout most of the night. There you see the veteran Bearcat Minner shouting some instructions. He's been around the block.
Fowler inbounding. Kevin Clark against Artis Long.
Mondo.
Look at that long one. And he's got it.
Oh, boy. He scorched the cords with that one. Nothing but net, Howard.
He has 13 points on 3 3-point field goals and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. 2-point ball game. It's a good one from Kokomo High School.
You got to hand it to the Wildcats.
Brian Long for 3, way off the mark.
Air ball.
With the rebound.
Oh, we got an open
Timmy Rail is ahead of the field, and he's got it. The game is tied. Tied at 48 with 6 minutes, 5 seconds remaining.
This could be one of the most important games of the season for the Kokomo Wildcats, as they have shown what they're made of, and they really needed this headed into the stretch run for the state tournament.
Brian Long with a spinning one-hander. No good. He's traveling. No basket.
Well, Brian's really upset. Bill Harrell's trying to calm down his squad. He can see that the momentum has shifted, and now the crowd is into it. He didn't want either one of those two things to happen, and this crowd can really get raucous. There's Bill Harrell. A good look at the veteran Minner and his counterpart from the Kokomo Wildcats, Basil Mawbey.
5:51 to go in the game. We're tied at 48. Muncie Central led by 5 after 3 quarters, so Kokomo has outscored Muncie Central 7-2.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any easier for Kokomo. Next week, Warsaw comes in. They're 17th ranked in the state. There's a great steal by Long.
Artis Long taking it away from Timmy Rail, but the shot is missed. The foul no good by Webster, and we've got a foul.
Wow. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Timmy just a bad break that time. The turnover and then a foul on the rebound.
Number 1 on Rail, 4th team foul. Game tied at 48, 5:35 to go. Gray Knox. Artis Long for 3, and he misses that one. Jason Watson with the rebound. There's Kevin Clark, picked up by Long. Clark going all the way. Offensive foul, a charge. Player control foul on Clark, his second person.
Well, you can kind of see that coming, Howard. He had that look in his eye. I think he was doing a little one-on-one challenging that time. Artis Long was checking him pretty closely, and Clark really got up that look in his eye like he was going to take it all the way to the basket. There you see it right there. He just absolutely charges right into number 42. That's Robert Scaife. Good call by the official, and now Muncie Central has the advantage.
There's Dre Knox. Back to Artis Long, who has hit 5 3-point field goals in this game. Mondo Fowler of Kokomo has hit 3 3-pointers. Knox has 2 3-pointers. He fakes a 3-point attempt there. Timeout, says Bill Harrell.
Well, he saw this will be interesting.
4:56 to go in the game. The score is tied. Muncie Central 48, Kokomo 48. We'll be back in just a moment.
Plotting the final 4:56 of this game for his troops, the Muncie Central Bearcats, and Bill Harrell has been in that position many, many times. Come out on top many, many times. We'll see just exactly what he's got in mind as Muncie Central tries to maintain the number 4 state ranking. They've got a 13-1 record. And here, Howard, as is our weekly feature, one of my all teams. This is my all uncommitted to college team. These are all seniors who have not selected a college yet. Eric Sherman at 6'9", Neil Coyle at 6'8", a couple big ones from the southern part of the state. Chad Albee, 6'5", from Perry Central, also down south. Marlon Fleming from Southport, and Chris Wilburn.
You certainly are committed to coming up with these all teams.
Yeah. Well, don't be surprised if Chris Wilburn commits to Utah. And that's a scoop.
All right. Artis Long. Inside, and the shot is missed by Webster.
Big miss.
What a game this is turning into. Here's Kevin Clark. Timmy Rail had a shot at the free throw line, but didn't take it. Now looks up, and he's got it.
Howard, I'm telling you, the kid's a scorer. He just doesn't pull the trigger that often.
He has 6 field goals for 12. Kokomo takes the lead, 50-48. Knox for 3. He's got it.
Boy, with ice in his veins.
His third 3-point field goal. This is incredible. Muncie Central has 9 3-pointers. Rail misses the shot. Clark with the rebound. Off the side of the board. He's got the rebound, though. Mondo. Is he going to shoot it that far out?
He looked like he was cocked. Oh, there's a nice power
Matt Gaddy
move.
goes up, misses. Matt Gaddy again. Taken away by Sonny Robertson. He was out of bounds, though.
Boy, I'll tell you what, we've got a floor full of competitors, Howard. These kids are really going at each other. The fans love it. They got their money's worth tonight at Memorial Gymnasium in downtown Kokomo.
3:44 left in the game, 51-50, Muncie Central.
Well, and Brian Long back into the lineup as Robert Scaife, the Warrior, goes out. Probably just for a breather. 3:44 to go.
Kokomo's held Sonny Robertson to 9 points. He's averaging better than 18. Jason Watson misses. Jason Watson with a follow-up.
You gotta love that.
You gotta love it. It counts in a foul.
That's the biggest play of the game, Howard. Jason Watson has no business being in there. He's one of the smaller kids on the court, but he out-hustled and out-fought everybody. A possible 3-point play, the biggest play of the game.
Brian Long commits his first personal. Jason Watson.
Yeah, and Scaife's coming right back in.
13 points.
Let's take a look at it. Jason Watson, number 24 for the Kokomo Wildcats. He's not very tall. He doesn't weigh very much, but he's in there with the high-jumping kids and the good athletes. He just simply out-hustled everybody that time and put that ball in the hole.
He is a 6'1" senior, 2 for 3 from the line tonight. He's got the 3-point play. Kokomo by 2, 53-51.
Good balance scoring-wise for Kokomo tonight. Rails contributed. Mondo's contributed. Watson's contributed. A lot of them have contributed.
Here's Artis Long. He's double-teamed. Throws it away. Mondo Fowler is going to bring it back outside.
That's a veteran play. I don't think he had the angle because that pass was not on line to the bucket, so he brought it back out rather than forcing it.
Kevin Clark. Here's Timmy Rail. Back to Clark. Taken away beautifully by Artis Long.
Boy, oh boy, are they quick.
3:05 to go. A steal by Timmy Rail. Mondo Fowler is ahead of the field, and he misses the shot. It's saved and taken by Smith. He's out of bounds.
Travel called on Scaife.
Scaife, rather, I should say.
Boy, did you see Clark get up and try the left-handed follow jam? Bill Harrell did, and he still can't believe it. Basil Mawbey did, and he liked it. And so did the near-capacity crowd here at the Memorial Gymnasium.
Mondo Fowler to Matt Gaddy. Jason Watson fakes a 3.
Boy, if you're Bill Harrell, you don't like to be in this position.
Clark with a jumper. Gaddy with a follow-up.
It's on Kokomo. I think it was on Gaddy, number 52.
Pushing off. Matt Gaddy commits his second personal. 2:43 to go in the game. Kokomo leads by 2.
Well, and Bill Harrell, really, as you take a look at Basil Mawbey there, he's got a little grin on his face, but I'll guarantee you, Bill Harrell does not. You don't want to be down to Basil Mawbey on his home floor because he's just on near impossible to beat. There you can see a replay of the foul called on 52 Gaddy.
And Scaife makes the first free throw. He now has 5 points. He is a 74% free throw shooter. Kokomo unbeaten, 9-0 at Memorial Gym this season. This one could tie it up. And we're tied with 2:43 to go, tied at 53. Kevin Clark against Artis Long, forcing it inside, but a kick ball by Sonny Robertson.
You got to like Kokomo's chances in this situation. They're at home. They've got the senior leadership. They've got the ball. All of those factors point in the Wildcats' favor here, but Muncie Central's 4th ranked in the state.
Jason Watson's shot is rejected. Who's going to get the ball? We've got a whistle. Traveling.
Oh, boy.
Traveling is the call.
Oh, boy. That's a tough one. Bill Harrell just can't understand it. If the player doesn't slide,
Tim Rail to inbound. Tie game, 2:27 to go. Here's Jason Watson.
I think the Wildcats got a break there. Now they've got to take advantage of it. They've got the ball. The clock's winding down. They've got to be patient. Look for the good shot.
Timmy Rail. Watson making something happen, but he missed the shot. Robert Scaife with the rebound.
Gutsy move. There you see the clock.
2 minutes to go in this one, and we're tied at 53. Artis Long has 5 three-point field goals. Brian Long. Dre Knox. Artis Long. Timmy Rail knocks it away.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
And off Artis Long. Look at Bill Harrell. He's furious.
He says, that's 3 that have gone against me now. I'm not going to be quiet any longer. Look at him pointing. He's pointing at him. You've seen the kids point at each other on the floor. There's Bill Harrell pointing at the referee. He's not happy, Howard.
Jason Watson crosses the timeline. Hawked by Brian Long.
Oh, boy, that was close to over and back.
Timmy Rail.
Quick hands. Very quick hands from Muncie Central. I think Kokomo needs to look for a shot. I don't think they need to stall here, Howard. They've got to look for a shot and take it, or they're going to lose it.
Clark had a good shot and passed it up. Now he's got the ball again. And he banks it home.
Absolutely the right thing to do. Beautiful play by Clark. Absolutely the right thing to do.
55-53 Kokomo. 1 minute to go in the game. Brian Long for 3, no good.
There's a foul on Rail.
He reached in.
Boy, oh boy, how did Scaife ever get that rebound? He was standing in between 6'6" Timmy Rail and 6'5" Matt Gaddy, and Robert Scaife is 6'1", and he came away with the rebound. That's just a terrific play by a real warrior. This kid's got a lion's heart. There you see Basil Mawbey again.
Robert Scaife at the line. He is 2 of 2 from the line thus far.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Look at that. You just got to love that. He was fronted both in front and behind, and then he absolutely outfought 2 players for the ball.
Scaife misses. Rail grabs the rebound. This is Clark.
Oh,
and he is grabbed by Brian Long.
Bill Harrell's going to call a timeout. I'm not real sure that Muncie Central needed to foul. Well, their defense looked awfully tough the last time down, Howard. I think it was a matter of time before they stole the ball from Kokomo. And it almost looked that time as if Long fouled intentionally.
50 seconds to go in the game. Basketball fans in Hamilton County will want to watch Hamilton County basketball each Thursday evening at 6 o'clock on TV 40. Host Chuck Godby will interview the hottest coaches in Hamilton County. That's Thursday at 6 p.m. on TV 40.
Well, I think this is just an absolutely great tribute to the Kokomo players. The fact that they came back from a devastating loss a week ago to Anderson and were able to really show the composure that they had here in the second half to take control of this ball game. These kids are going to be heard from in the tournament.
50 seconds remain. Kokomo leads by 2, 55-53.
I really thought, Howard, that before tonight's game that maybe McConaughey was going to play the role that Western did last year when they upset Kokomo here at the Kokomo Sectional, went on to regional play in the state tournament. But now that I've seen what the Wildcats are made of, I think they're definitely the solid favorite at their sectional again this year.
Kevin Clark at the line. He is a 50% free throw shooter, and this is his first appearance at the line in this game. He has 2 field goals thus far. 1 and 1. And he's got it. And a big one it is. 3-point Wildcat lead.
And we mentioned how some of the other Kokomo players had contributed offensively tonight. Clark's really done his share here in the fourth quarter.
He misses that one. Battle for the rebound. Out of bounds. Kokomo ball.
They got a break. No question about it. They got a break.
49 seconds to go. Mondo followed inbound. Kokomo leading 56-53. Jason Watson. Kevin Clark. They've got to go for the steal, and they make the steal. Sonny Robertson with a bucket.
I told you, Howard, this team is just too quick defensively. You absolutely cannot stall on a team that is this lethal defensively. It just doesn't work. And I'm not saying Kokomo was trying to do that, but you can see where that is not a smart tactic by any team that's facing these Bearcats this year. Bill Harrell having a convention here at the scorer's table. Look at him. He's pleading his case. He's lobbying here at Memorial Gymnasium.
Sonny Robertson committed the personal, his third. Jason Watson at the line. 56-55. Kokomo by 1, 36 seconds to play. Watson is 3 of 4 from the line in this game, a 62% free throw shooter. He's got it. He has 15 points. He's averaging 11.6 per game. 2-point Kokomo lead. 36 seconds to go. He's got that one as well. Kokomo by 3.
Well, who will shoot it? I think somebody's going to pop a 3. Will it be R.T. Slong? Will it be Dre Knox? Will it be Sonny Robertson?
There's Long. 23 seconds. The shot is no good, but they've got another shot. Brian Long with the ball.
Oh, he's going to lose it.
And a steal. Mondo Fowler had it. He couldn't hang on. Traveling is the call. Dre Knox jumping up and down. 13 seconds to go. Kokomo leads by 3 points. 58-55. Timmy Rail to inbound. Matt Gaddy is fouled by Brian Long with 12 seconds to go.
Well, it all comes down to the first one, Howard. Forget the fact that he gets a bonus if he hits the first one. This one all comes down to whether he hits the first shot or not. If he does, this ball game, for all intents and purposes, is over unless a critical defensive mental letdown occurs on the part of Kokomo on the ensuing inbounds, where Muncie Central to hit a three-pointer and get fouled. But that seems rather unlikely. That he hits his free throw, the game's over, and misses it, we could go to overtime.
Kokomo calls time with 12 seconds remaining, leading by 3. Hope within the story this Thursday evening. Live call-in program for families that have questions or concerns regarding the Persian Gulf War. Join pastors Jay Brenniger and Mike Baldwin. It's this Thursday evening.
I think Bill Harrell's asking here at the scorer's table for perhaps an interpretation of that last call. I'm assuming that maybe is what Bill was asking. As you see him there huddling up with his squad. That's twice now the officials have called, and they have been consistent on the traveling call where a player's on the floor and is called for a travel. Normally you see a little more movement or a player sliding along before that travel's called. But in both cases tonight, and it has been consistent, as I noted, the players have been called without any question.
There you see the clock, 12 seconds remaining. Kokomo by 3, and Matt Gaddy at the line, his first appearance at the line. Timeout. Kokomo again. Gaddy's going to have time to think about these free throws.
Boy, he sure is. I hope he reacts, if you're a Kokomo fan, a little better than the Buffalo place kicker a couple weeks ago during the Super Bowl. Scott Norwood, who missed from 47 yards out. But what a great game. I really don't think that Kokomo had the North Central Conference Championship or any of that in mind when they hosted these Muncie Central Bearcats tonight. I think that was the farthest thing from their mind. They just simply wanted to get back on course so that as the tournament, which is only 4 weeks away, approaches, they can show some progress, point to some positive things that will put them in a position to regain the Kokomo sectional.
Watch Indiana Sports Magazine Tuesday nights at 6:30 on TV 40. Host Greg Bell takes you behind the scenes to talk to the biggest names on the sports scene in Indiana each Tuesday night at 6:30. Greg Bell, the voice of the Kokomo Wildcats on radio, sitting right in front of us. All right, here's Matt Gaddy. He's had plenty of time to think about this 1-and-1 situation. And he misses. They could tie it up.
Oh, that's
10
so critical.
seconds.
That's
Timeout,
so critical.
Muncie Central.
Boy, you know, Howard, the way this game has gone, you almost figure that would be the outcome. A missed free throw so that this can go right down to the bloody end, and they'd have a shot at a three-pointer. It's been that kind of ball game.
Timeout called, 8 seconds remaining. Kokomo leading 58-55.
Well, I'll tell you, it's just a credit to North Central Conference basketball. That's why this field house is pretty near filled up here tonight. These fans are used to just years and years of great tradition basketball-wise. There's Bill Harrell mapping out the strategy.
Kokomo High School fans can tune into the Basil Mawbey Show Wednesday evenings at 6 o'clock. Greg Bell also hosts that one, and Kokomo High School basketball coach Basil Mawbey talk as they preview the upcoming games. That's Wednesday evenings at 6 o'clock right here on TV 40. Okay, 8 seconds to go. Muncie Central needs 3 to tie. Sonny Robertson has 1 3-point field goal. Artis Long, 5 3-point field goals. Dre Knox, 3 3-point field goals. So there are a few different people that the Bearcats can go to.
And I think they've only got one. Well, this is a real chess match now. Basil Mawbey's taking his turn, calling a timeout. I really think it's important, Howard, to note that with 8 seconds left in the ball game, Muncie Central probably only has 1 shot at it. They're going to get the ball inbounds. There may have to be a pass or two, and then they're going to have to let it fly. 3-point percentage is not good. Generally, it's about 30% for a team, so you got to figure the odds heavily in favor of the Kokomo Wildcats.
Okay, everybody loves the wonderful world of Walt Disney. You can see all the fun and excitement of Walt Disney every weekday afternoon at 4 o'clock on TV 40. Don't forget, next week we'll be at Mount Vernon. It'll be Noblesville out Mount Vernon. Next Saturday at 9 a.m. on TV 40.
Well, Noblesville's got a player that was awfully close to making my all-uncommitted team. That's Tony Etchison, the 6'4" guard forward for the Millers. And, boy, what a season that Tony's had here, wrapping up his high school career. The senior playing terrific ball, as is Chad Klein from Mount Vernon, as well as Brian Gilpin and Kevin Browning.
Okay, Brian Scaife inbounds, 5 seconds, and he wasn't even pressed.
Oh, boy. Bill Harrell is fit to be tied. He says there is no way that 5 seconds expired. And I think that Bill's going to come out of this with some real serious complaints about the officiating. That's about 5 times now that he has just absolutely felt that he's gotten the short end of the stick. And
There he is.
I think that it goes without saying, if you were to listen to his post-game interview on the local Muncie radio station, you would hear a pretty upset Bill Harrell.
The best in contemporary Christian music videos can be seen each Friday evening at 11 p.m. on Power Source Videos on TV 40. Join hosts Phil Foley and Jay Carpenter as they keep you up to date with the Christian music scene. That's Power Source Videos. Friday evenings at 11 p.m. These timeouts keep coming. We'll run down every single program on this television station.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, I'd love to hear Bill Harrell on his post-game remarks. I'm sure to go something like, well, we got homered, and now I'm going home. That's all I've got to say about it. Because he is still voicing his displeasure. He's a veteran. He's been around the block. He's been down the boulevard, and I've never seen Bill quite this upset.
Timmy Rail inbound.
He just
8
got
seconds
warned.
remaining. Kokomo leads by 3 and has the ball.
He just got warned by one of the officials, and unless they steal it here, which this game's all over.
Jason Watson, they don't have to move it across the line. And Watson is fouled with 4 seconds to go. Look at,
he just wound up and he threw it.
Look at Harrell fired the basketball.
That's a veteran move by Bill Harrell. because all he did was return the ball to the official, but he did it in such a way that his body English left no doubt what his intentions were. He is not happy, and to be quite honest, Howard, I can see why. He's going to go home, and he's going to say we got homered.
He's just loosening up his arm for the baseball season.
Boy, he fired it in. That was a fastball. He's not happy. Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, these Bearcats are going to have something.
Watson misses. They've got one last shot. 2 seconds.
Way too early. Way too early.
Way too early is right. Now the game is over. They had some time for a last-second shot, but forced one up.
Well, and Bill Harrell just chased. There he is. Look in the corner. Howard, you can see it right there. He is furious. Bill Harrell chased the official out of the gym, and he is not being permitted by security to get any further than that corner. I'll tell you, it's ugly. It's heated here at Memorial Gymnasium in Kokomo, Indiana. Bill Harrell feels like he was basically cheated out of a victory.
What an effort by both teams. The final score as Harrell walks off. Kokomo 58, Muncie Central 55. We'll be back in a moment.
Finished to the second quarter by Muncie Central, and it was critical you come out in the third quarter and establish yourselves, unlike last week at Anderson. You had to be happy where your kids came out.
Well, if you remember at Anderson last week, we were out in 6 and we had the first possession and we scored. They call it travel, you know. Well, we didn't get that bad mistake this night. We come back and we come up and we started breaking into the lead. I was really worried when we'd cut it down and almost took the lead, I believe, in the third quarter, and then they stretched it back at the end of the third quarter. So then it really took some courage. And, you know, from a bunch of kids that had such a disappointment last week to come back and show the courage they did this week, you know, it was one of the best efforts I've ever had, and a great compliment to the kids and the work that they went through this week, getting ready for a team that is an exceptional basketball team.
Coach, only one squad from the North Central Conference ranked last week in the top 30 of the state. Obviously, with the victory here tonight, you're proving that there's more than one good NCC team in the state of Indiana.
Well, we have to play each other. You know, that's the problem. You know, we've lost to at Marion and at Anderson. You know, those aren't easy places to play. And you take those away. You take Muncie Central loses here. You know, there's not many teams in our conference that on a given night can't beat anybody in the top 20. But everybody can't be in the top 20, so I don't really worry about that. You know, we have a team that I think on a given night can play with anybody, as we proved tonight, and I think that's true of every team in our conference. Logan Sport last week had an exceptional game beating Lebanon. Every team in our conference, I say, can compete.
Coach, last year you lost your sectional. I know that was a tremendous disappointment. This year you've got a Mechanical team that looks like it's just kind of laying in wait, just waiting for the Wildcats to stumble. Obviously, this is a team very capable of taking away the sectional again this year.
We have a tough section, you know, every year, and right now, you know, we've got 4 basketball games that we got to worry about. You know, we have Warsaw coming in next week, of Newcastle, North Central, and Connorsville, and after that's over, we have to start worrying about the sectional. So obviously, they will be fired up to play in here, as every team is, and all we have to do is just do our best, and I'm guaranteeing when we get done, kids play like they did tonight, we'll have done our best, and that's all I'll be able to ask.
Coach, congratulations on a terrific victory, a great game here at Memorial Gymnasium. Best of luck to you the rest of the season.
Well, we thank you, and we thank you, Channel 40, coming in. It's really exceptional, the coverage they give to our Cats, and we're really appreciative of that. And our seniors tonight, I think, can really be congratulated for a great effort. And I want to just mention them right now because those 5 seniors that played exceptional basketball for us tonight. And Mondo Fowler just had a great second half. Jason Watson, Tim Rail, Kevin Clark, played exceptional. Dwayne Smith, Matt Gaddy, and Doug Etchison. So that was great leadership out of 7 great seniors.
Absolutely. A team effort for the Kokomo Wildcats as they claim their 12th victory on the season.
Our acknowledgement and thanks to these people who were involved: Greg Browning, Derek Cardwell, Brian Jones, Rob Moss, Mark Taylor, and Devery Truex. And we will look at the statistics. There they are, the final score. The Bearcats 55, the Wildcats 58. Field goals, 12 of 19 for the Bearcats, 18 of 38 for the Wildcats. 3-point field goals, 9 of 20 for the Bearcats, 4 of 11 for the Wildcats. Free throws, 4 of 5 for the Bearcats, 10 of 14 for the Wildcats. Turnovers, 27 committed by the Bearcats, 18 by the Wildcats, and the Wildcats out-rebounded the Bearcats 22-17. The high scorers for Muncie Central, Long had 17, Robertson had 11. For Kokomo, Watson 16 and Fowler 13. Again, that final score, Kokomo 58, Muncie Central 55. Next week, it'll be Noblesville at Mount Vernon. Now, thanks to our statistician, Brian Martin, our best to Don Spall, our regular stat man, getting over an illness. He'll be back with us. For Jim Kasperg, I'm Howard Kellman. Goodbye, everybody.
Mawbey.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's program. Tonight we take a look back on that exciting come-from-behind victory for the Kokomo Wildcats here at home over Muncie Central, 58-55. It runs Kokomo's seasonal record to 13-3, 4-2 now in the NCC. We'll also take a look ahead at Friday's ball game with the Tigers of Warsaw. Bring in Coach Mawbey, and well, what a victory that was last week.
Well, it was very exciting, and to play such a good team and play so well for 32 minutes. There were many times during the game the kids could obviously fold it against the caliber of team of Muncie Central. We started out in the first half and played pretty even, and all of a sudden they made a nice spurt. So start of the third quarter was very important, and we came out and played well. I think maybe even tied it up or got within 2 at least. But then at the end of the third quarter, they stretched it back to 7, and I think that was a key part, or 5, and they scored the first basket of the fourth quarter to make it 7. So from then on, it was very tough, and it really took a lot of courage and a lot of determination to come back from that 7-point deficit.
Try to look back on the season so far and find out how many games you've actually trailed at halftime that you've come back to win, but I think it's up to about 5 or 6 now on the season.
Well, the kids have made some nice adjustments. You know, hopefully we can pick something up. Brian Kossel does a nice job looking at their full-court offense against our press, and usually we're able to make 1 or 2 adjustments there, which has been very effective for us, and that's been a key. Also, I think we've been able to maybe take one player and maybe find an option that their defense hasn't covered as well and be able to maybe increase our offensive output. But I think the biggest thing is they're just a very determined group. They're a group of seniors. 7 of the top 8 are all seniors, and they're determined to do well this year. And I think from that, when it gets down to the last part, they really play hard. And even in the Anderson game, I never been on a bench where there was more enthusiasm tried to be bestowed to each other than there was on that. So the kids really do have determination, and I think that's been the factor in making us be able to come back from these tough deficits.
You know, you look at stats, and what's really amazing, the ball club's 13-3, but you look at shooting, it's still not shooting all that well. If you tell me you'd be a 45% floor shooting team and 58% for the foul line, but would win 13 out of 16 games, I'd say you're crazy.
Well, that's the start of the season. You know, I was anticipating maybe 55% from the field and 45 from the three-point line. A year ago, we shot above, I think, 46 as a team at this part of the season, and from the three-point line. So we were very good outside shooters, and all those players returned. So we really anticipate being a good outside shooting team. And in our key victories, we have shot the ball pretty well, and instances to maybe take control of the game. But the shooting hasn't really peaked yet, and hopefully if that comes along, we will be an outstanding team.
Emotion-wise, intensity, I think that the team hasn't shown that much as they did on Friday night. I thought they really came together, particularly in that second half in that regard.
Well, they've played pretty hard in most games. You know, I think in the Richmond game, the second half had a great comeback. The end of the Lebanon game when we outscored them convincingly, the Mount Conequah game. It seems like really in the second half we've played pretty well in each game. But to come back against probably one of the best teams in the state, that's another factor where you really have to rise to another level. I really don't, scouting Muncie Central and looking at the videotapes, talking to their radiocasters, and talking with people, they really think this is a team comparable of one of their state championship teams, and to come back and beat them was really a satisfying victory, especially since we were trailing in the latter part of the game.
You know, Coach Harrell has not had much success winning NCC championships. He's won 3 state titles, but only 1 North Central Conference championship, that back in '78, and they were sitting in a pretty good position until last Friday.
Well, they still control their destiny. They obviously, if they can beat Marion in 2 weeks, they will win the conference outright. If they would happen to lose there, Marion would be the conference champion. Then hopefully, if Logan could get Marion, then we would have a chance if we could beat Newcastle. But there's a lot of ifs for us. But I think what it really proves is the North Central Conference is very balanced each and every year. Another thing you have to take in consideration, Bill was winning 3 state championships at Muncie Central. In that same time period, Marion was maybe winning 6 state championships. So they were playing against very good teams in our conference. Also, I think Richmond had 2 or 3 state runner-ups. Anderson had 2 or 3 state runner-ups in that period. So Kokomo 1 state runner-up. So I think in our conference, there's been some outstanding teams the last 15 years. And, you know, the year we were state runner-up, we didn't win the conference, you know. And so I think to win the conference, the North Central Conference, really takes a lot of stay power, because each and every game can be an upset. And if you look at throughout the years, I'm sure you've seen teams in the bottom division defeat one of the top teams to maybe really put it into a tailspin.
TV 40 every Saturday morning for the 40 Sports High School Basketball Game of the Week. Each week, we're proud to bring you the best in regional basketball action, including many of the state's top-ranked teams. Join Howard Kelman and Jim Kasberg for exciting play-by-play action, as well as coach and player interviews. Don't miss the 40 Sports Game of the Week, Saturday morning at 9.
And back we are now in our Meet the Wildcats segment. We start off talking basketball with junior forward Pete Corpetz. And Pete, welcome. And how's the season been going so far?
Oh, it's been going all right.
Ball club standpoint, 13-3. Gosh, you ever dreamed the team would have 13 wins through 16 games?
Yes, we were looking forward to a well-played season, and you know, I was expecting us to have a strong season this year because all the seniors on the squad. And next year we'll be losing all those seniors, but I hope to replace them with more strong play.
I was going to say, with all the seniors, yeah, things look pretty good in the future then for you. And what do you see as your role in the ball club this year, and what are some of the things you're working on now?
I'm working on my jump shot, better ball handling skills, and for next year I hope to be starting at a forward position or maybe a small guard position.
Okay, and I think your strengths, you run the floor pretty well and get up in the air pretty good, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Great talk with you, and best luck the rest of the way then, Pete.
All right, thank you.
Let's bring in Ryan Smalley now, and Ryan, welcome. Move in here a little bit, guy, and how about your season so far? I know you're really coming on the junior varsity level. You've put together some pretty good ball games.
Yeah, I started out a little bit shaky, but now I'm getting pretty good into it, getting into the swing things. So.
A little bit tough at times to shake that football out of you, isn't it? Making that transition, of course, the starter at the football team, going from football to basketball.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like I want to muscle around a lot, so it's hard to get adjusted to the basketball.
How about the JV team? You guys have lost a lot of tough ball games in a row, haven't you?
Yeah, we lost 6 in a row, but like Coach Taft said, like a couple of them's been by 1 or 2 points, so it could have went either way. So.
Okay, how about the future now? Things may open up for you a little bit as you go along here, and what are some of the things that you're going to be working on now?
Mostly my low post moves and getting bigger size-wise. Mr. Cameron was talking to me about getting stronger and stuff, so that's what I need to work on, is getting stronger and posting up.
How about this ball club on the varsity level now? They've had a pretty good season, haven't they?
Yeah, we had a real good season. I didn't know what really to expect at the beginning of the year, but we're doing real good right now, coming together for the tournament, so.
Listen, sounds great, and good talk with you, and best of luck the rest of the way.
See you later.
Okay, a couple of juniors, Pete Corpetz and Ryan Smalley on this year's Kokomo Wildcat basketball team, and we'll be back with more of this evening's show right after this.
The Kokomo last Friday night ranked 4th in the state with only 1 loss on the season, undefeated in conference play. And coaches, you looked at the ball club. What was the game plan going in? What did you feel you had to do well to win that contest?
Well, watching them, they had so many strengths that we were trying to pick out a couple of things that maybe we could slow down and give us an opportunity to win. I think the first thing we saw is they were a great offensive rebounding team, and we wanted to be sure we stayed on the boards, blocked them out, and didn't give them a lot of second shots. That was our first key. I think second key was they were excellent drivers, and we wanted to be sure that we took away the driving lanes. And in our zone defense, we've been pretty successful over the years of doing that. So we thought that would be maybe one of the easier aspects of the game, because they are great penetrators, great offensive rebounders. Their other outstanding strength was the fast break, and from the week before we didn't do a good job getting back against Anderson, and I'm sure one of their big keys to victory was when they started the game was wanting to be able to run the fast break against us, and I thought our kids did an excellent job getting back and taking away the fast break. I don't remember, very many baskets coming off the uncontested fast break, and if you watch videotapes of them in their games, they get many, many opportunities by beating everyone back down to court with their great speed. So I thought rebounding, penetration, and the fast break were three things that we had to watch out for. What I didn't anticipate was the great outside three-point shooting. They have good shooters, but we'd scouted them 5 or 6 times, and in our charts we had shown that Robertson was about a 62% three-point shooter, so we didn't want him to get many three-point shots off. So we did a pretty good job, I think, of slowing him down. The other keys were, and their other guard, Artis Long, had not been shooting that well from perimeter. I think a year ago against us, he was maybe 1 for 8 in the perimeter, and it was a bank shot, so we thought, well, maybe we could give up something, but we can't let him shoot because he shoots so many. And we went out and guarded him, and he goes five three-pointers, I think. So their outside shooting was very strong against us.
Okay, let's take a look at the game now. We pick it up, and what'd you think in the first half of play now in the team's performance?
Well, we come down, and we didn't do a very good job offensively. The first couple opportunities, we had wide open 2 to 4 foot shots. I think we got the ball inside to Smith and Bowling the first 3 times, and our inside game looked good, and the ball would not fall in for us. Kevin Clark, we set up a play. He got a lay-in on the drive, and it didn't go in, and everything just seemed like it was not going our way. But luckily, our defense had held them to only 2 baskets. First basket was a three-pointer by Artis Long, which got him to a good start, and then the next basket was a basket by Asunya Robinson, which is their 2 leading scorers. So right then, it looks like, God, here we are starting out 0-5 again. Now we got to fight back. But the kids came back, and we had a basket by Bowling, a great penetration, drive through the middle, laid it in, and then Tim Rail hit. So now it's 5-4, and it kind of stayed even 9-10 at the end of the first quarter. We're only down 1. We were able to stop them on their last second shot and luckily not let them score at the buzzer, which is something they're very, very good at. Starting the second quarter, we did go ahead. Mondo Fowler got a couple free throws and put us up 11-10. So at that time, at least now our kids are gaining confidence. I think it was very important for us to get some confidence early in the game that we could play with an outstanding team like that. We opened up a 16-13 lead, and feeling pretty good, but all of a sudden we had 22-19, and we scored 1 point, and they scored 12 the last 3 minutes of the quarter. That was a very big turnaround, and it really, even a more key play was right at the buzzer. They stole the ball and had a wide open 3 that could put up 11 if they would have hit that, and I think that would have been really a crusher blow for us. We didn't go into the locker room knowing that, hey, we can play with them, but guys, you can't let them get those 12-1 spurts. That was another key at the top of our scouting report, cut out the spurts, and we didn't do it there. Obviously, the last 3 minutes, they outscored us 12-1. The start of the third quarter, a big basket where we started and were able to score, and Tim Rail was able to score the first basket for us and cut it to 6. And then maybe the kids really realized that, hey, we can get back in this in the second half. The key situation in Anderson was we got the first shot of the third quarter, made it, called for traveling, then missed 4 lay-ins, and then I think the kids were just kind of mentally beat down, and they weren't able to overcome a deficit and missed some shots, and then all of a sudden started pressing. But this time they didn't get to that situation. They were able to cut them back to a nice three-pointer by Mondo Fowler, cut it back to 35-38, key jumper by Mondo. And then at the end of the quarter, we were only down 3, and they score at the buzzer, and that was a crippling blow I was afraid of because Robertson made a nice baseline drive and put us down 5. Start of the fourth quarter, you hope to get a good spurt. Didn't happen. They score. I think it tipped in by Scaife probably, and then it comes back. We're down 7 with under 7 minutes, and you do that against the Bill Harrell team, you know you're going to have to be very good in your full court defense, because once you get to half court, they probably won't shoot anything but free throws and lay-ins. So we were able to, the press made them turn it over. Mondo hits another 3, Watson hits, Rail hits 2 baskets, and all of a sudden from a deficit of 7, we've outscored them 9-0, and now we're up 2. And from then on, it was just seesaw back and forth. But that 50-48 lead was a big play. One of those was a fast break basket from Watson to Rail. Excellent full court pass. Key things that you have to run against a team that runs so well like they do.
Coach, some very wild action right at the end of the ball game. The officials really had their hands full. A lot of difficult calls they had to make along the way. Bill Harrell thought a few went against him, in particular the 5-second call on his club with 8 seconds left, down by 3.
Well, I think, in a tight situation, any game you can look back and take that videotape and think, now, did he really travel or did he really get the foul or whatever happened? I can remember right near the end of this game, we had a 3-point lead and they double-teamed Clark. It looks like he got sandwiched, could have been going to the free throw line, and they shot a lay-in to cut it to 1, So there were many calls that in any basketball game, if you start to cut it apart, and I think the officials were trying their very best to do a good job. And one thing the videotape does show that the official does count 5. Stopwatches, you can put them on, and it may be 4.8, 5.2, 4.5. It's very difficult in that type of situation, but a lot of the people did count it at 5, and either way, when the official counts 5, that's when it's going to be 5. So I think it was a tough situation. I'm sure the emotion of the game was there right then, and there's been a lot of calls in each and every game that determine things, but usually it's the 32 minutes of action preceding the last 8 seconds that really determines the game. And obviously we would have hopefully been able to stop them with that, but we'll never know, just like last year when the ball banked off the bankboard and didn't touch the rim and they shot a 3-pointer that would have won the game. There was no way to stop it right then. It was already played, and so that's what happened this game. And I just hate to take anything away from our kids because they played awfully well and awfully hard. Kevin Clark's basket with 1:09 tie game was a super basket. Free throws by Jason Watson down the stretch to stretch it up to 4, I believe. And it was just a great effort by our kids from playing maybe one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the state of Indiana and defeating them after a tough weekend the weekend before. You couldn't be more proud of your team.
So again, it goes down as a 58-55 Kokomo Wildcat victory. The Cats keep their hopes alive for another conference championship. They would have to win at Newcastle a week from Friday. They need Logansport to win at home against Marion, and then Marion to turn around and beat Muncie Central at Marion to finish up in a tie for the NCC title. Back to talk about Friday night's home game with Warsaw. We'll be wrapping up their season series with the Warsaw Tigers coming up this Friday night at Kokomo's Memorial Gym. And Coach Mawbey, you've had some great ball games over the years with Coach Rhodes up at Warsaw.
Al's a good friend of mine. He was my assistant coach when I was at Angola, and just a very dedicated person. Has had great success taking his very first varsity team to the Final Four. I mean, there's very few coaches have had that opportunity and been able to succeed. Coming back, winning the state championship in '84, fun to see you and your friend win it 2 consecutive years and someone you've worked with. So it was a great thrill that I've worked with Al in many different situations. He also is the coordinator of our Australian exchange program, and he was the one that chose and gave me the opportunity to go to Australia. So I can't thank Al enough for the things he's done for me. And up until we step on the court, we're pretty good friends. But then if you watch him and me, it gets pretty tough out there. And when Warsaw decided that they would like to maybe get a closer rival, maybe that would play a home-and-home game with them instead of a home-and-away, we decided, that would be okay because it is very tense when you have to go against a super friend like that. But it's also great competition. We've enjoyed our games. I think each time they've been close games. Last year, a phenomenal game. We were behind 12 in the first quarter, 13 in the second quarter, 12 in the fourth quarter, and come back with 24 seconds to be down 2. So our kids had a great effort and fought very well. I think we had 11 3-pointers against them last year, and just a super basketball game. So I'm anticipating that same type of battle this Friday night.
Coach Rhodes has done a great job with this year's team. Inexperienced, but yet they're 14-1 and ranked 14th in the state right now.
Well, one of the things that happens after you've been in a school like he has for maybe the last 10, 12 years is, he builds each year that he knows what he's going to have coming back. Even though he was playing seniors last year, he obviously knew that Elliott and McKenzie had to play a lot this year. So they had a very good junior varsity team last year. But they also practiced with the varsity, Elliott and McKenzie, 2 very good perimeter players, and also can go to the boards pretty well. Taylor returns from his 3rd year on the varsity, one of the best post players we've seen, and I think people will be impressed with how well he really positions inside. He's only 6'2", but it does a great job inside. Their 2 guards, Szymanski and Scott, are very heady, and then they've got a strong bench. So, Al, each year, he plans for what's going to happen, and he may be planning 4 or 5 years down the line. I remember when they won the state, maybe 4 years before that, he took them to the state tournament and, was putting in that kid's mind that they had a chance to go there, and I'm sure he's done that same thing with these kids that are coming up now.
type of club is it this year? What's their style of play that they like?
Well, I think they rely a lot on their speed. They're not a big team. Tallest players maybe 6'2" or 3", so they're not a big team, but they're very good shooters. All can shoot the 3, and all can really take it to the basket well. So they're a good inside-out team. McKenzie and Taylor are very good inside, and then they have excellent outside shooting with Elliott. You know, so it's a big game for Warsaw and Kokomo, but I think then on Saturday when Warsaw girls and the Kokomo girls are then going into the regional, it's a big week for Kokomo basketball and Warsaw basketball in general, and we're certainly hoping the best for our girls. For anyone's watching the show tonight, please stay tuned for the Howard County sports, and you will be able to see Coach McCroskey and Coach Painter talk about the girls going to the regional, and we're certainly hoping them well, and hoping next week we're preparing for the semi-state.
Sounds good, and good luck to you then Friday, Coach.
Thank you.
Warsaw Kokomo coming up this Friday night. Hope you enjoyed this evening's program, and we'll see you again next week.